Hey guys, welcome to Bloodlines. I'm Olvaar, and in this video, we're going to go over the new village system that was recently added to the game. I'll explain how to join a village, how to pass the Jonin exam, and rank up all the way up to ANBU and even Kage. Let's go. So, villages are the main factions in this game. Joining one is one of the first things you want to do during your playthrough. The main reason is that it will greatly speed up your progression by letting you access the mission board. Completing these missions allows you to get Rio and chakra fragments much quicker than you'd be able to do on your own. You'll also have potentially more favorable prices for the products you want to sell and purchase in your home village, depending on the politics of that week. More about this later in the video. Even if you start the game on your own, you'll quickly find other players from your village to progress with and help each other out. If other members of your village accidentally hit you, you'll take a reduced amount of damage. And if they go a bit crazy and decide to kill you despite being on the same team, they'll receive heavy penalties for doing so. If they do this too frequently, they will eventually be kicked out of the village entirely. There's 4 different villages you can join in Bloodlines: Durana, Sarithia, Rain, and Snow. It really doesn't matter which village you join, they're all equally viable even if they each have some small pros and cons. You just want to make sure you join the same village your friends play in. If you plan on starting a guild or a clan, you have to keep in mind that you can only invite members to it if they're from your own faction. Anyway, when you first start the game, you'll be part of the neutral faction. This means that you're not affiliated with any of the villages yet. There's only 2 requirements to join a village the first time around. You need to be part of the neutral faction, and you need to have 0 sin. If you just started the game and you didn't go around killing people, you should be good. Then you just want to talk to the sensei NPC of the village you want to join. Durana and Sarithia village are pretty easy to find because they're spawn points for new players. I already covered how to get from Durana to Sarithia in my beginner's guide, so check that out if you need. Finding the Rain village is a bit more complicated for a new player, but it's really not that far away from Sarithia. Just follow this path. Getting to Snow Village is a bit more tricky. If you have a friend that can get you here using a Rift portal or even OB2MS, reach out to them because otherwise it can be a bit daunting if you're new. But if you have 500 Rio and you're up to the challenge, here's the path you need to follow starting from the Rain Village. I recorded this in a testing server, so I want to give you some pointers for those of you trying to do this in a public server where there's going to be players that are trying to kill you. First off, some of these players have the chakra sensibility, which allows them to sense you across the map easily. When you get to the next area, you want to avoid the enemy NPCs by stepping on the ice as little as possible. They can be a bit difficult to fight if you're not too progressed, and a lot of them attack you at the same time. You want to keep in mind that this gate will close on you if you take too long to cross it, so make sure not to idle for too long if you don't want to waste a ton of Rio. Sometimes you'll find snowstorms in this area, so you want to avoid them when possible. There's also some ice monsters that spawn here. Try to keep moving to avoid them. But just know that if you don't have the seamless run passive or a special dash like flicker step, they might catch up to you anyway. If someone chakra sense you heading to the snow village, they might be waiting for you here to knock you off the bridge and void you. And yeah, if you made it this far, you're almost there. And then yeah, just talk to this guy. The previous elo system has been removed and replaced with the reputation system. Basically, each faction in the game has its own separate ranking based on this reputation stat. You'll need to get reputation to go up the ranks in your faction. There's different ways to get this reputation you need, like killing players from other factions you're not currently allied with. You get extra reputation if you kill a player from a faction you're at war with. You can also increase your reputation by completing missions from your faction's mission board. The higher the rank of the mission you take, the more reputation you will get. Don't overlook completing quests when you're trying to farm reputation because they give quite a bit of it. This is true for both repeatable and one-time quests. You can also sometimes get a small amount of reputation as a random reward for completing a global event. You can also lose reputation. This happens for various reasons, like getting killed by other players or NPCs, or killing players from your own village or from a village that's allied with yours during that week. You will also lose reputation if you kill a player with Archromo's Blessing. Villages have 3 ranks that anyone dedicated enough can get if they're patient: Genin, Chunin, and Jonin. This is all pretty new, so in case you're watching this a while after it's been uploaded, make sure you check the pinned comment in this video in case there's been any changes to what I'm about to say. The lowest of these ranks is Genin. To get this rank, you obviously need to join a village first, and then after doing a lot of missions from the mission board and gripping other players and doing quests, you'll get an in-game prompt. When you reach the reputation cap, you'll get a message telling you that you can't raise your reputation any higher before completing the Genin exam. When this happens, I recommend you head immediately to your village's sensei and click on the second dialogue option, I want to take an exam, and then select Genin. All you have to do for this exam is defeat the barbarian boss. Make sure you actually start the exam before trying to kill it. To find the barbarian, you can just go to the mission board and click on the B rank mission, defeat a boss, and hope that's the boss that spawns for you. If you're unlucky, you can always go to Sarithia and follow this path. There's a barbarian boss that's resting here. Hit him a few times to wake him up. So I already explained how to defeat this boss in my beginner's guide, but here's the quick version in case you missed it. The barbarian will try to punch you. All you have to do is press F to block while he's pulling his arm back to perfect block him. If you do this 3 times in a row, he'll get stunned for a bit and you'll have a short amount of time to attack him safely. Just keep repeating this process. He also has a jump attack you have to watch out for. All you have to do is jump before he lands to avoid the damage. Or you can just use Flicker Step if you have that to get away from him when he does this jump attack. Once he's downed, you can grip him by pressing B. Then head back to your village's sensei and you'll be promoted to Genin. Next up is the tuning rank. Once you hit this new reputation cap, you should talk to the sensei NPC again and start the tuning exam. All you have to do to complete this exam is kill a player from another village that is getting rank or higher. Again, don't forget to start your exam before killing your target, otherwise it won't count. Also, I know some of you are going to try this, so here's a heads up: if you kill another Genin from your village, you'll automatically fail the exam. I assume the same would happen if you grip anyone else that will make you lose reputation if you kill them, like a player from an allied faction or one with our Chromo's blessing. If you've tried it yourself, let me know in the comments what happens if you do that. Anyway, head back to the sensei NPC of your village and you'll be promoted to tuning. The Jonin exam is the last one you'll need to complete. You know the drill: when you hit the tuning reputation cap, just talk to the sensei NPC again to start the Jonin exam. He'll tell you you need to kill a notorious rogue. What you need to do is kill a player from the rogue faction, specifically an S-rated one. Again, make sure you start the exam before you do this. Once you hit Jonin rank, you'll be able to purchase Jonin armor. These are the current Jonin armor locations for each village. But what's even more important in my opinion is that when you get to Jonin rank, you get a small boost to your max HP and chakra, so it's definitely worth doing in all of your playthroughs. The Genin, Tuning, and Jonin ranks are milestones in a sense. What I mean by this is that even if your reputation drops below the minimum you need to take the exam, you'll still keep these ranks until you wipe. There's no ceiling to how much reputation you can get after you reach Jonin. This is just the beginning. You're going to need to farm a lot of reputation if you want to reach the top and become an ANBU or even a Kage. More about this in the next segment. So this reputation stat that I've been talking about gets tallied up for all players at the end of the week. Each faction has their own separate ranking. The top players from each village with the most reputation during the first week get promoted during the second week to ANBU. All of this happens automatically without the involvement of the devs. There's a fixed number of spots for these ranks, so if you're from a faction with a low population, you will have a much easier time being one of the top players from your faction. These rankings get recalculated every week, so just because you didn't get ANBU one week doesn't mean you won't be able to get it in the future. And at the start of every month, all the reputation that exceeds the minimum you need to complete the Jonin exam gets reset. So just because someone has remained number 1 in their faction for a few weeks doesn't mean they'll stay there forever. Anyway, besides bragging rights, these top players get access to ANBU armor, which have some of the highest base stats in the game. They give really strong buffs to health, speed, health regen, chakra regen, and more. But they also have unique buffs like silent dashing, jumping, and casting. They also have no hand sign trails when they're about to use the jutsu, so they're basically stealthy assassins. When they're out of combat, the first hit they land does twice the damage. And the armor also comes with an ability called Chakra Blur, which makes it very difficult to tell where an ANBU player is when you use an ability like Chakra Sense. They get special titles when they're part of the ANBU, and they get the title Former ANBU when they lose the rank. The player with the most reputation in their faction during the first week will become the Kage during the next week. They get access to Kage armor. These armors have the best stats in the game. Alongside this, they get a skill called Inspire, which buffs village members around you. The more village members close to you, the better the damage, speed, and regen buff they get. They also get special titles while they're Kage, and when they lose this rank, they keep the former Kage title until they wipe. While they're not in a server, there will be a clone of them giving out Ryo to members of their village. But the most important perk they get leads me to the next segment. Kages get to make 2 political choices each week. This is all done by actual players. They can declare an alliance with another village. If both Kages accept, during that week, those villages will be in the same team. Killing members from an allied village is effectively the same as killing members of your own village during this time. Kages can also declare war on another village. During a war, you gain extra reputation for killing a player from a village you're at war with, and lose extra reputation if you're killed by a player from a warring faction. You'll also gain and lose war points much in the same way. Something to keep in mind is that you will not be able to fast travel to the chakra point of the village you're at war with. If a Kage declares war on a village that has an alliance, he will be declaring war on both villages. Also, say both the Snow and Rain village agree to declare war on Sarithia. In that case, both villages will be at war with it. The war is won by the village that has the most war points at the end of the week. If 2 villages are allied, they will need to average more war points between the 2 of them than the village they're at war with to win. At the end of the week, the new Kages can make new alliances and declare new wars. These wars also affect the economy of a village. NPC prices change based on the results of these wars. You can check the current politics and economy by talking to the sensei NPC of your village. To join the Rogue faction, you'll need to get 25 Sin. When that happens, you'll be automatically exiled from your village. Among other ways, you get Sin by killing players you shouldn't be killing, like freshies or players from your own village. If you need Sin but you want to avoid killing freshies out of self-respect, you can head to the locations I'm showing on screen and steal relics. They each give some Sin and you can sell them for Ryo too while the NPCs still talk to you. Rogues are always at war with other villages. They're at war with each other too. Other players from this faction are not your allies. Rogues can't fast travel to the chakra points of other villages. The Akatsuki leader will steal your Ryo instead of giving you some. And players trying to achieve Jonin rank will be hunting you down. My point is, this faction is intentionally tough. It's meant for hardcore players. If you're good at PvP and you want to be fighting others constantly, this is your faction. You'll be getting grips here easily. But it's not for everyone. If you still want to join, here's how you get to the Akatsuki hideout. Head to the Rose Bay chakra point and follow this short path. Press E here to open the secret entrance. There's a barrier here only rogues can go through. Players from other factions will have to break this rock to get in. It can take a while since it has a lot of HP. Or if you have Obito EMS, you can just use intangibility to go through the rock. Rogue has a mission board like the villages do, and there's NPCs in the Akatsuki hideout that will sell and buy items regardless of your sin. There's no exams for this faction. Once you gain enough reputation, you'll automatically go up the ranks which have the same buffs as the village ranks do. The top players of this faction can become Akatsuki and they get similar perks to ANBU, including some armor. The player with the most reputation in this faction becomes the Akatsuki leader. They get access to the Akatsuki leader armor which gives similar buffs to the ones Kages get. They get a passive skill called Absurd Block which makes it impossible to chakra sense them. And they get a skill called Fear which is the counterpart to Kage's Inspire. It debuffs everyone that's around you. They get reduced health regen, chakra regen, and speed. The more enemies around you, the more powerful the effect. Anyway, if Rogue isn't for you, watch the next segment. I already explained this in my beginner's guide, but people seem to miss it, so I'll explain it here again. To change faction, you'll first need to become a rogue player. Like I explained in the previous segment, you need to get 25 Sin to be automatically exiled from your village. Head to Rosemary Pit and follow this path. Then you want to clear your sins by talking to Gamistock and paying some Ryo. Once you're at 0 Sin, you want to redeem yourself by choosing the I'd like to redeem myself dialogue option. You'll go back to being in the neutral faction. You'll need to wait a bit of time, around 3 age-ups, until you can rejoin the village again. After you've waited a bit, all you need to do is talk to the sensei NPC of the village you want to join. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.